Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Embre, and we're in the Ember City. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back, guys. We are farming some bones at our skeleton grinder in the sewers, but we are back down here in the skeleton grinder, getting some bones and stockpiling some bone meal, so that we can start working on the next part of our building. Specifically, the thing that we need to do is we need to get some birch. Because I have an idea for the next sector that I want to do. And what I want the block tile to look like. So we're going to gather up some birch, and then we're going to meet back up in the city. And we are back after gathering up some birch. That should be plenty for our goal today, because we have a city to build. Now, I'll talk you through what I'm thinking here, because whenever I wanted to start working on this area, I wanted to tie the area together using these tough bottom layers as kind of like a basis for the building structure, for the concept of the build. But as I'm doing that, I'm realizing that it's limiting the fullness of the buildings that I'm integrating. And while I really enjoy it here and here and here, I think if I don't change some level of consistency over here, it's going to dull my eyes. And I don't want that to happen. I want to bring out some brighter ideas over here in particular. And there's a specific reason why I want to do that. It's because I have two builds in mind that I want to work on today. But we're not quite to that second one, so we're going to work on the first instead. And so the concept I have in my head is I want to use the lighter colors of birch. Excuse me? My goodness. How rude. How rude. And we're back. So what I think I want to try is I want to try these lighter colors as my accents. And I want to try a more solid block to see if the texturing will kind of be brought out better. I'm going to play around with that. And then after we get through some basic house building, I think we're going to really get to some more interesting concepts that I want to integrate. Also, don't forget that I want to find a way to kind of play around with potions. I've already begun looking into that. I've started playing around in a test world for myself and kind of looking into what it takes to make a potion factory, per se. That may be what I do next, but I'm not quite sure yet. There are some kinks that I need to work out, there's some design flaws, and there's some philosophies that I really want to figure out. Once I have something more solid to show you, I think I'll try and give that a whirl. Alright, let's get back to the building, shall we? And with that bit of texturing, yeah, looking pretty good. I think so, at least. Oh, I really like that. Very good, very good. All the way around here, too. Very cool. I like that a lot. So, what I think I really wanted to do with this is I wanted to really give feelings for who is living in these houses. And I think I achieved that perfectly. I think we have the brightest colors over here. Even though that's more vibrant with the greens and the browns and the contrast between that, this is the closest to white that we really get besides the initial building, which even that initial building feels kind of gray with the tones of white that we chose to use. This building is very pristine. And I also played around with some of the texturing on the windows. I played around with mixing in different colors, different lightings, and even more so, they can afford garden boxes. And not just any garden boxes, unique, extinct garden boxes. Ooh, from the sniffers. And we got to incorporate them in a way that I really enjoy. Now, there's only one downside to these buildings and what's going to take the longest, I fear. And that's I gotta oxidize a lot of copper. And I do mean a lot of copper. And I've already started the process, just so that we can be on our way. But this should be, and I mean this in the most hopeful tone I can say it, these should be the final facades of houses I do. Everything they make out from here on out should either be hosting something meaningful to where the interior is dedicated to the thing that it's hosting, or the thing we'll be building won't have an interior at all. Kind of cool. But I really like this right here as well because it's such a spot. It's such a moment in time. And I really love these because I kind of enjoy that concept of that you really think you know the oldest building on your block or you know where the oldest thing in London is. You even have these like nice rows, like people have been here for 100 years. And then you just spot a little dumpy building in the middle been there for 50 odd extra years. It was just built right before it. But they owned the land. They had to build around it. And they did. And I like that. I like that a lot. And would you look at that? Sticks? Stones? Who's going to provide the bones? Hmm? Hmm? It's not going to be me. It's going to be you. That's what I thought. Anyway, I have been thinking and thoughting, and I've thought enough, and I've thunk. And I've decided. I wanted to add a living wall right here because I thought that would be really cool. And it would contrast very well with the transition that I want to make right here to a... Excuse me. Oh my gosh, you weren't even down there. You were in the house. That's home invasion. Very rude. But I wanted to transition from the area that... My poor planning is catching up with me. Is this what hubris feels like? I think this is hubris. But I wanted to find a way to transition from the very clean, pristine area to the building that I wanted to do next. And this is a way that I thought would do that well. Something that would make sense in such a high-end area, but wouldn't feel too out of place for the area that we're going to do next. And so what I think I'm going to do is I want to mix in some moss into a debauchery of azalea leaves with some diorite toppings and pill oak trap doors to complete the look. Oof, I like that. That's very clean. And now we just need to repeat it on the other side. Something like that. There we go. And now you might be thinking, that's all of the leaves and moss explained. What's all this for? That's a good question. And maybe I should finish the building before I move on to the next area. There we go. And that's a good question. First off, we need to get our basic stone, and we're going to create a simple stone wall because we don't want the front of this building to be too over-assuming. we live in a very casual area of the city. We live in a very like neutral district, and I want to maintain that the front of this building is going to feel like the rest of it. That it's not going to be overbearing to everything else. Ouch. So I think we're going to start with something neutral, and then we will get more detailed about it once we have kind of this front side figured out. Not too high, because I have an idea for the roof to make it interesting. And so we're going to play around with this basic stone wall. I may have made them different heights. There we go. And look at that nice and simple wall. Not too shabby. Now it's time for us to kind of make it more interesting. There we go. That's much better. Some texture, some shape, some identity. I like that a lot. Got ourselves some stone bricks mixed in with some mossy, some oxidized copper to blend in those blues and greens. Yeah, that's super cool. But now it's time to decorate the front. And I actually have quite a few ideas for how I want to go about doing that. And I've gathered up some of those materials right here. We're first going to start off with this right here. I wanted to add 4, 5, 6, 7. I wanted to add a little water pipe up the front. Oh, I missed. Because I think that I want this visually from the front to be actually quite interesting. And then from the sides to not take away too much from the rest of the city. I want it to feel like living walls, like a visual display, that the buildings and innards itself are not why you come here. And we're going to do that by doing something like this. We're going to try placing some trap doors at certain heights, giving a certain feel, taking up space. We're going to have some pots around. And then also I wanted to play around with something like this. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. I've seen this trick done before, but I've never personally done it, so I wasn't quite sure how effective it is. But I actually like that a lot. And then I think I want to busy it up a bit more. Something like that. Maybe one more right there. And one more right here. Kind of create a staggering effect. Put pots on you, 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 you, and I think we need one right here for this effect to really come to life. You may be thinking, what? And that's fair. This just looks like a bunch of pipes and pots and arrays and decorations. But if you can call your mind back to the wall we did over here on one of our very early buildings, we actually played around with these concepts. With this, a living garden wall, bringing some life to a garden. And I think I want to do the same thing over here. Because the thing that we're making is a plant nursery. And I really want to try and get that going. I have a few plants, a few flowers gathered up here, but I'm not sure if this will be enough. We may need to go on a bit of an adventure if we're really shellacking in the flower department. Yeah, that'll be good to get us started, and then we'll see what colors we're missing. Oh, and I almost forgot. variety of saplings. We've got our inventory filled up with some details, and let's see if we can make this look good. Like that. Ew. Now, that's pretty cool looking. I really like that. Now, to really make it come home, I want to have these kind of hanging propagule stations. But obviously, we don't just want to use propagules, we want to mix it up and add some variety and spice to our trappings. And then we're also gonna want to fill this up with water. And final one. How's that looking? Ooh, that's looking pretty cool. All right. Now that we've gotten the outside kind of taken care of, I think it's time for us... Hello. Oh my goodness, he's invincible. It's time for us to start working in here. Now, this isn't quite perfect or done, but I wanted to get the base work done so that whenever we did actually start working on the interior and the details of it, that it wouldn't be just a bunch of block placing and we could actually get down to the details. Now, I have a few plans and ideas for this. I wanted to do two things in particular. I want to do kind of stairs in the floor and fill them with water to kind of create markings on the ground, while also filling this up with plants and plant life to make it kind of come alive. Because I absolutely love this view. This is super pretty. Not that. That's not a pretty view. But this is lovely. And I really wanted an excuse to have the city overlooking the edge of the mountain. I think this is a great way to do it. We're going to fill this with some plants, some water, some life, and we're going to have ourselves a little atrium, a little plant nursery. Hello, everybody. We got our plant nursery done and dusted. I mean, look at it. Thank y'all for coming and spending time in the Amber City. See y'all next time. Bye bye.